Hi everyone, this is Wasimuddin. In this video, I will explain you one of the most asked Microsoft's telephonic interview question. The question goes like this. Given a list of words, decide whether or not the list is lexicographically, alphabetically sorted. So before even we dive in the solution, it is very important for us to understand what lexicographically or alphabetically sorted means. Um, it means it is just the alphabetical sequence of characters. um, for example, if you see this array list, it has collection of strings a b c b c d and c d e. If we if if we compare these two strings a b c and b c d, at any given point in time, A comes first when compared to B, and B comes first versus C, and C comes first versus T. I'm talking about the alphabetical order. And likewise, if we compare B, C, D, and C, D, E, B comes first when compared to C, and C comes first when compared to D, and D comes first when compared to E. So if we have been given this list of strings, then this should return true. Likewise, if we see this array list, which has Wasim and Asim as strings, and if we compare the initial characters of these two strings, the first string has W as the initial character, and the second string has A as the initial character. Um, A comes first, but W comes after A. So if you compare the sequence, the sequence is not correct, because W here, the string with W comes is first in this array list. So this will return false. Um, so So yeah, here for the solution, we have to figure out the function definition before even we go inside the solution. So for the function, it returns. You can name this function as anything you want. I have named this function as is alphabetical order. You can name whatever you want, and this function returns Boolean value, and it accepts array list of strings like here. Um, so basically, when we pass this array list to this function, first thing was what we need to do is we have to check for null pointer. We have to do null pointer checks, and also we have to check the length of the array list. So whether the list pass has any null, whether the list pass is null, or the length of the list is 0. That means the list doesn't have any strings in there. So if that is the case, then it will return false, which is very obvious, and that's it, the program ends. If not, what we do is we declare a string called previous here, which holds nothing. Essentially, it is empty to start with, and then we run a for loop on the array list, which have collection of strings. So for the first iteration, we have the first string abc. Here we, for the current variable, we will allocate abc in there, and then we will compare abc, which will be our current variable, current string for this iteration, to the previous string, which is empty. So essentially, when we compare both abc to previous, it will give us value which will be greater than 1. And I will explain you why it will give us a value greater than 1. So what it does is, it so this loop, it will go out of this loop because the value will be essentially greater than 0. So it allocates this abc, which is our current string, to previous. So the previous will become abc now. So coming to this compare to function in Java, let's go and see what it the definition of it according to um, Java T point. So what it says is, Java string compare to method compares the given string with current string lexicographically. It returns positive number and negative number or 0. So basically, when we are comparing two different string, the possibility is either it will return a positive number, a negative number, or 0. And if you see, it again says, further down the definition, it says it compares strings on the basis of Unicode value of each character in the strings. So basically, I will explain what Unicode is, just to give a quick primer about Unicode. Um, you can just type in Unicode character table and type in specific character for which you want the Unicode. Let's say A, and if you just search for A, it will get you the Unicode value for that specific character. So if you go and click this, you see the Unicode value of this. So basically, this is so we have two different notations, like, um, to be very specific, we have Unicode character values and we also have ASCII character values. So ASCII, when it comes to ASCII, it is 8-bit representation of specific character, and this Unicode is 32-bit in representation of a character. um, I mean, if you guys want to see more about ASCII, or if you guys want to learn more about ASCII and Unicode, just comment down in the comment section, and I can make a separate video on that. Coming back to the solution, or I mean, I can explain you guys more. Like, in our case, in our question, or let's say if we are passing in this array list to our function, so it has A, B, C, B, C, D, and C, D, E. So A, let's select the pencil over here. A, B, C. So A has one its own Unicode value, B has its own Unicode value, and C has its own Unicode value. Compared, and this will be compared to B, C, D, and this all characters will have their own Unicode value, and this the value of these different characters will be combined together and will be compared to the value of these characters combined together. So that is how Unicode works in this specific question, when we are wanting to get lexical order of specific string with characters. So being said that, coming back to the solution, so in the first iteration we assign previous empty value, and the current word or the current string was ABC, and since ABC, our current value here is ABC, and which we are comparing to empty string, it gives us a value which is greater than 0. And what we do is essentially assign the current value ABC to previous. Now our previous is ABC, like this in the first iteration, right? So we can go here and maybe write first iteration, and the value is ABC. So we assign this ABC to previous. Then we go to PCD, and we now our current is BCD in this second iteration, and we compare that to our previous value. Our previous value here is ABC. So we compare BCD to ABC, which is obviously greater. BCD is greater than ABC when it comes to lexicographical notation, and of course the value we will fetch the values by doing the Unicode values, or calculating the Unicode values of specific characters in that string. So if you do that, BCD will be greater than ABC, and it will return 1 in this case. And this if condition, we will pass this, we will get over this, because it will not satisfy this condition, and we are here, and now our previous becomes BCD. um, Now our previous in the second iteration will be BCD, and in the third iteration, our current will become CDE. Here the current will be CDE. Then we will compare the CDE to our previous, which will be BCD, and again CDE will be greater than BCD. Again, these just concluding that CDE is greater than BCD just by calculating the Unicode. Again, I can make a separate video on how we can calculate the Unicode value, but the purpose of this video is to help you, if I and you, to understand what the crux of this specific problem is. So being said that, it will, for the third iteration, this will we will compare our current CDE to the previous one, which is BCD, and this will not the eventually the value will be greater than zero. Hence, it will the current will become the previous. The current now we are having CDE will become previous. So in third iteration, the previous will become CDE. So this is in the third iteration, and since we don't have any more elements or strings in that specific array list, we are out of this loop and it will return true eventually. So this is the good case. I mean, what if we dry run this bad case where we get false? So if we just dry run this array list which have Wasim and Asim as the strings, so it will first have yes, we have to do the null check, and we have to check the length of the array list itself. Then we assign previous empty value, and then we will loop over this array list again, and then our current will be Wasim, and then we will compare that to the previous, which is empty. Um, then of course it will return us +1 because when we compare Wasim to empty character, current will be Wasim, and compared to his previous. So previous is empty. When we compare those two strings, it will return +1 again, and then we assign this Wasim to the current, which will be previous. I mean, we will assign current to previous. So Wasim will become our previous. Then we iterate over, and in the second iteration we will get Asim as current, and we will compare Asim with Wasim. Since Asim comes is the current and we are comparing it with Wasim, and the lexical order here, see if we see the W is compared with A. If you see the lexical order, A comes first and W comes afterwards. But in this case, A is being compared with W. So it will give us the negative value, which is -1. So since W comes after A, so it will give negative value, and we will have -1 as answer, and that will return as false, and the loop and this if condition terminates, and the whole program will terminate here itself. So this was the crux of this specific question. And if we go to the compiler itself, and if we go to the first list of strings which we had in the array list, ABC, BCD, and let's add another string which we had, CDE. So basically, I just created the same method here, and I've created that. I've created this hello world object, and I'm creating this array list as on the go, and I'm just populating this with the string values which we have here in the array list in the first array, and I'm just trying to pass that array list to this function. And when we run, since these are all in alphabetical order and in lexical order, this should return as true. If you run this, if you see the answer on the left, it will be true. And versus if I just pass Wasim and Asim, since W comes after A, this will be false. This is not lexicographically correct. So let's execute. The answer will be false here. So there you go. So this is my take on this specific question of given a list of words, decide whether or not the list is lexicographically or alphabetically sorted. Please let me know. Please comment down below in the comment section, and please share this with your friends who are interested in learning data structures and algorithm. And please subscribe this channel. And see you in the next video. Thank you.